Pistons and seeing how we're going to improve our roster, not fix it, improve it for next season, because New York doesn't look like they're going anywhere anytime soon. I mean, they're full of a bunch of vets, and maybe that the Western Conference Finals will be San Antonio and Oklahoma City for a couple years to come, and then maybe Detroit, New York is on the other side for the next couple of years, which would be really cool to see. I don't know. I don't think it really matters rooting for either or. I don't think it should matter.
I think it does matter for some people, though. That's why I'm talking about it. I've seen enough to know that it does matter to some Pistons fans who you're rooting for. And I'm a little torn, to be honest with you. Like, I've always respected the San Antonio franchise. I love Greg Popovich as a coach. I enjoyed watching Tim Duncan. I enjoyed watching Manu Ginobili. I enjoyed watching Tony Parker. Hell, I even liked watching Bruce Bowen do his thing in San Antonio. I always wished he wasn't, even though he got away with some dirty stuff. I always wished he was a Detroit Piston. I loved his game. There were just a handful of guys. Even Antonio McDyess ended up playing there. Jason Maxiell was part of the Spurs organization. Like, it's hard for me to hate the Spurs is what I'm saying. I understand what happened in 05, but as a Pistons fan, I still respect San Antonio. There's no other organization I'd rather lose to in the NBA Finals. I might sound silly saying that, but also if Rasheed Wallace didn't go to double, they most likely win that series. So it's hard for me to hate on San Antonio. This is what I'm saying. Like, it's just hard for me to hate on San Antonio.
That's fair. And before we move on, because I do want your prediction in this series, but I do want to have a conversation about something that I don't think, when it comes to talking about the ESPN world and talking about everybody's opinions, do you think it's fair, the criticism that they gave Jalen Duren with his performance in the 2-7-game series? Do you think it's fair for him to eat all that shit and then Chet Holmgren comes out in a game 7 and takes 2 field goal attempts? We've already talked about this, but for what he put up in this 7-game series with the Spurs, like, there needs to be a little bit of conversation about this guy.
That's a good question, because the only criticism that I've heard about Chet Holmgren has came from Zach Lowe and Ben Simmons, and it was like a short 90-second clip or something like that. But I agreed with what Zach Lowe was saying. It is like, you need to bounce back. This can't be forgotten. And how are you going to bounce back from this? And then he also brought up that, some players' careers have been defined by these moments, but also it's a turning point in their career where we've seen a lot of guys respond positively from a bad game. Like, they bounce back and they still become this great player. But with that being said, we've also seen the bad side where it doesn't go well. Their career tapers off. Think of like Ben Simmons. He decided to pass out of an open layup right at the rim, and his career changed from that. So I'm wondering if that's what's going to happen with Chet Holmgren. But I don't think it's fair because I haven't seen other things posted on my timeline. I've only seen positivity come from the Chet Holmgren bad game, where it was like all Shea, and it was his quote where I think he said, this is the worst you're ever going to see Chet Holmgren. He'll always be better from this moment on. That's what Shea said about him, and that's all I've seen. So I've seen some criticism, but I haven't seen it from the big guys. But yeah, I think it's absolutely unfair for Jalen Duren. And I just think it goes to the moneymaker right now is talking about the Thunder. So we're going to talk about the Thunder as positively as we possibly can, because that's what's bringing in the money right now.
Yeah, with Chet Holmgren, that last game, man, you can't be a top dog on a team and just go 1 for 2 field goal attempts in an entire game is crazy. And to add that it was a game 7 just blows my mind even more, especially with the 33 minutes that he got. I don't see him completely falling apart, but I think a lot of the talk with JD with his performance is so much like embodied by this max contract that he's going for, when Chet already really kind of has the bag. So, I mean, maybe that's a lot of the reason for the conversation. I just didn't find it fair because anytime you were to listen to anybody criticize the Detroit Pistons with their struggles, especially in the Orlando series, it was always that JD was the scapegoat. And I just watching the Chet Holmgren performance just kind of makes me scratch my head a little bit.
But it is kind of odd. I think there still will be criticism coming Chet Holmgren's way because that contract hasn't kicked in. Next year, he'll be making $41 million next season. He is signed to a 5-year, fully guaranteed rookie max contract extension. The deal's worth $239 million, but could reach up to $250 million. I will say this. I was going to say, but I think the criticism for Jalen Duren was fair because he was an all-star. He made an all-NBA team, and he was a 20-10 guy. He was being talked about. But then I remembered, Chet Holmgren, he was an all-star. He's also an NBA champion, but he also made an all-NBA team, and he made an all-defensive team, and he was second in voting somehow for Defensive Player of the Year. Really still felt like Ausar should have at least been second because he is actually probably the second best defensive player in the NBA. But anyways, I digress. I do agree with you. I think it's unfair for Jalen Duren, and maybe you are right. Maybe it's because the contract hasn't been signed. But I'll say this: I hope he's not making more than Chet Holmgren.
If you could choose between the two, you're picking Chet.
We're talking about for contracts.
No, I'm just talking about taking him on your team. I mean, the contracts are going to be remotely similar. But would you, at this point, would you pick Chet over JD on your team?
This is funny because I wanted to ask you this about Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle. Stephon Castle's my answer. Dylan Harper's your answer. I'll just fill in the blanks. Who would I rather have? I know people automatically want you to say, dude, you got to say Jalen Duren. I don't know if I'm getting Chet from this year, just the regular season, I lean towards him just because he is a two-way player and he's a stretch 4. I mean, he's probably not a 5, so you still got to put some muscle around him. I know we were talking about his weight last episode, but still cracks me up. But yeah, I would probably lean Chet Holmgren over Jalen Duren, even though I still probably got to add someone to the team. But he gives me that two-way. He's an elite rim protector. He can shoot the 3. He's nowhere near the level that Jalen Duren is in the pick and roll, but that's all Jalen Duren has, pick and roll and catching lobs. So, yeah, I would take Chet Holmgren.
I think it's kind of a coin flip, and it's only a coin flip to me with just watching, and I hate to judge any player off of just their playoff series, but I think with the childhood rivalry that Chet and Wembanyama already had before even going into this 7-game series, I don't know. I felt like Chet needed to take it a little bit more personal, and he didn't. So I don't know, and it makes me nervous to think to kind of go all in for a Chet when you got to watch him versus Wembanyama, and that's kind of how he performed. He looked to me like he was afraid to take shots in the paint just because of the contest. Like, I think Hartenstein was more effective than Holmgren was versus Wembanyama. So, I mean, yeah, he can stretch the floor for you, but if you look at the stats too, regular season is different than the playoffs, obviously, but like regular season, he wasn't attempting a ton of threes, especially in the last series. So, I'm not sure, Lance.
Season it was 4, but yeah, you're right. This series in just the last 5 games, he only attempted a total of 5 3-pointers in the last 5 games.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like, especially with his position and what he brings to the table for that team, like I think it's really important for him to stretch the floor, and he wasn't doing that for them.
But the point is, he's still just, when he comes to stretching the floor, defenses still have to play him out to the 3-point line. Whether he has the ball or he's going to catch and shoot, they still have to treat him as a threat.
Something that we talked about Ausar Thompson being able to do for this team that would make them a lot better is just to have him be a little bit more versatile. So
Yeah.
so with the NBA Finals, what do you got?
I'm taking the Knicks in 5.
Knicks in 5. That's impressive. I'm doing San Antonio in 6.
Yeah, I'm going to say the Knicks in 5. I think Victor Wembanyama's defense is going to change a few things, but dude, there's something about being on a. I shouldn't actually say. I actually have no knowledge of this. I have no experience when it comes to me saying this, but there has to be a great feeling where you're playing with your boys at the professional level, right?
You're talking
Like
about
these
the
guys.
Villanova boys?
Yes, dude, they did it in college. They have an opportunity to do it in the NBA. They probably got to be hyped as shit right now, dude. Like EDM every day in the headphones when you wake up. Like that's the type of day they're having. Dude, there's just something about the New York Knicks, man. I'm rooting for them. I'm taking them in 5 over the San Antonio Spurs. I just think they're too good, dude. I think it goes like this. I think Knicks game 1, Spurs game 2, Knicks 3, 4, and 5.
I don't know. I think it'll end up being a decent series. I'm excited to. I mean, how are you going to match these guys up? Like, who are you putting on who? I mean, Stephon Castle is going to have to. It's going to be different defensively wise for each team. But like, you got to put Stephon Castle on Brunson. You feel like that's a huge matchup. Is Karl Anthony Towns and Wembanyama just going one-on-one there?
I think they have to play each other. I mean, unless you're gonna put Victor Wembanyama on like OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, or Mikal Bridges, and expect him to be, I guess, like a free safety. Maybe that's what maybe they're gonna expect to do that. But man, like, can you leave them open for long stretches on a possession? All 3 of them can. I mean, Josh Hart's not he's the worst of the 3, but he can still knock down threes.
He's been taking a lot of threes. He's been proving that he can hit that shot. I mean, I think in his last couple of games, he was attempting at least like 6 a game, which is kind of crazy for him, but he was hitting them. I think OG Anunoby would be a really good matchup with physicality with Wembanyama. So, but I think they're going to rotate. They're going to send different guys at him to keep him guessing at all times.
This is why Mitchell Robinson is important for the New York Knicks. You got to have more size against Victor Wembanyama. But you're right, OG Anunoby on him. Yeah, because he really is like a perimeter player. He doesn't just camp in the paint and call for post up. So, yeah, I could see OG defending him on defense.
Now, who do you think in this series is going to be the difference maker? Because for me, for both teams, but for me, for the Knicks, it's definitely the Knicks' bench. If you can get Shamet and McBride to come off and shoot the way they've been shooting, I think that is a huge game changer for that team. Like that, you can tell that they're playing with a different attitude when those guys are coming off the bench and hitting big threes.
I was going to say Mikal Bridges for the New York Knicks. Like I was looking at his. Let me see. What was I looking at? His series against Cleveland. I mean, they're not off the chart point like stats, but game 1, 18, 5, 1, and 2 with 3 turnovers. Game 2, 19, 3, 3, 3, and 1. Like, I mean, 3 total rebounds, 3 assists. I don't know. He had a good series against Cleveland. It kind of went unnoticed, but his shooting for the first 3 games was outrageous. Like 73%, 75%, 64%. And then he went 4 for 16 in game 4, the closeout game, but he only played 30 minutes. It's a lot of shots for 30 minutes. It's crazy. But I think he's the X factor or the difference maker for the Knicks. And for San Antonio, name we've already heard on this podcast, Dylan Harper. He'd be the difference maker, in my opinion, for them.
Yeah, Dylan Harper's going to be an X factor because he can guard and his rebounding is great. He does all the little things just so well. He's not going to blow you away with one single stat. I mean, there's games that he was coming out and getting 11 boards and only scoring 6 points. there's games that they needed him to score. He was scoring 18. So I think he's going to be a do-it-all guy for San Antonio. For me, it's going to sound really stupid, but to me, it's Wembanyama. Victor's got to come out and play well. Cat has been boarding very efficiently. Cat has been shooting the ball well on the perimeter. He needs to lock in defensively if they want a chance at this game.
Okay. So Victor Wembanyama is your answer?
I think Wembanyama, he needs to come out and really show us that he is a future MVP in the league. Like, I think he really needs to come and make a statement in this series.
I think he will. I don't think he'll have a bad game against New York. I don't think anybody people can definitely make things hard for him on offense, but he's just so good. He's just so good. Like, he's going to make an impact, and he's going to be felt all throughout the series. But I do want to talk about the Detroit Pistons. Okay, let's talk about Jalen Duren. So the Pistons and Jalen Duren don't mean to abruptly end the NBA Finals. I mean, it was great, though. Like, I am going to love that series. I'm going to love the NBA Finals. It's going to be a good one. But the Pistons and Jalen Duren are not close to a new contract. Detroit wants to retain him. We all know this. They want to bring him back. But there is a significant financial gap between the Detroit Pistons and Jalen Duren. Now, he's eligible for a $287 million contract over 5 years. The most any other team can offer him, I believe, is 4 years, 177. So the Pistons are the only team that can offer him 5 years. I just think 287 is ridiculous. And I think if you asked him to do 180 or 185 over 5 years, it'd probably be a slap in his face, just because why wouldn't I take the lesser contract from another team for a shorter amount so I can get to that third contract, you know? So I don't know. For Jalen Duren, my thoughts are, I hope the Pistons can retain you. I hope you sign a fair contract to come back to the Detroit Pistons. And I hope this doesn't last most of the offseason, because that's never good going into the regular season.
Yeah, I think Trajan's got to do his part for Pistons fans to get this done as fast as possible so we can go into the offseason with the mindset of kind of how we're going to go about next year. And we talked about Duren before with him earning this, with him being an all-NBA third-team selection. Like, go ahead and flex on him. If you think that you're worth more money, bet on yourself and go and try to be worth more money. Now, with your performance and what everyone kind of saw from you in the 2 7-game series, I mean, we were a little disappointed. And if he would have came out, Lance, and would have averaged a 17 and 11, something like that through these series, not one single fucking Pistons fan would say just to not sign him. It's the fact that he kind of played him into this situation himself. So I don't know what they're going to do. If it's going to be this amount of money, I just think it's asinine to go ahead and do that and pay him that. So who knows what they're going to do, and hopefully they can get something figured out, but there's no way you can pay him the max.
Well, what's the cutoff for you then? We're talking like 260, 250, 240, 230, 220, 210. Like, me, in my opinion, I think the absolute most I would offer him is probably like $220 million.
At the least, you have to look at the finances for everything going forward for this team, and he can't eat up that much money. I don't know, Lance. I want to keep him just because how young he is. Like, I want to keep him. I love the fact that, like, certain players staying on certain rosters and being consistent with one team. Like, I don't want to let him go. But if the talks aren't even close and it's kind of approaching 40 mil per year, I can't do this. We can't do
40 starting out 40 million is too much, but if he's in the mid 30s to start the contract and it climbs up from there, I guess I would be more comfortable with him, the contract getting in the 40s, because I do believe there is another level to Jalen Duren. I didn't believe it before this season. I didn't think he'd be a 20 and 10 guy. I thought at the most he'd hover around like 14 or 15 points per game, anywhere from like 8 to 10 rebounds per game. That's what I thought from Jalen Duren, just give you really good field goal percentage. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess that's nice. I never expected 20 and 10. I never expected that. So,
I mean, the 20 and 10 was great, but it was kind of exposed.
well,
So
yeah, the playoffs,
that's
but
the fraud of it kind of sucks, and that's kind of the thing that they're going to have to battle when they're talking contract negotiations with what kind of impact he brings in the postseason series.
yeah, well, not even just that, but also you averaged 20 and 10. Yes, you were a 60-win team, but did you average 20 and 10 because there was nobody else to go to other than Tobias Harris, and you just had a rotation of guys that were picking it up in the scoring department game to game? Is that why you're averaging 20 and 10? Now, if they improve and say they bring in like a Tyler Hero or a Trey Murphy or a Michael Porter Jr. or a Lauri Markkanen, are you still a 20 and 10 guy with those other names on here? I mean, probably not with Lauri Markkanen, but like some of those other guys, are you getting close to 20, or are you going to regress? But also, if
Yeah,
you regress offensively, do you step it up defensively?
yeah, I think that's a lot of the conversations that they're going to end up having. I don't know. I don't like going all chips in on this guy right now.
Okay, but what do you think is more? What do you think? Well, what do you expect to happen going to next season? Do you think Jalen Duren develops more offensively, where he has a 15-footer, where it's like, hey, maybe if I can't get to the rim, I can shoot this 15-footer and we're good? I'm still bringing it offensively. Or do you think he takes it up another level defensively, where even if the offensive game isn't there, we can still count on him to protect the rim?
I think he's going to want to try to create more of an offensive bag than focus on the defensive end. I mean, even we've kind of noticed in his last games, especially in the Cleveland series, when it came to him defensively, his pick and roll stuff was atrocious. So, I mean, I don't know if you can get better in that with being quicker on a pick and roll defending play, but I don't know. I think that if you can have him develop kind of a consistent a jumper, like free throw extended, but that makes me nervous though too, because like I don't think that's something that we really need for this team.
I mean, I think I disagree, because I mean, I don't think it's like a necessity to have your 5 shoot out and create space that way. I do think it's a luxury. But we've seen Jalen Duren play defense. I do think some of it's a little overblown, just to be fair to him. I don't think he's a good defender. I think he's an average defender. I think he can be a good defender. But anyways, it is a luxury to have a 5 that can shoot threes. But I will say, in today's NBA, now that I'm thinking about it, it is definitely a need for a guy to at least extend the floor from the 5. Like, if you're not an elite rim roller and just catching lobs, if that's all you're good at, and maybe you have one move in the post, but you're not good defensively, you're not going to win. You're not going to go very far. You might make the playoffs every year, but you're not going to win the championship. So if he's going to be more of an offensive player versus a defensive player, I do think it becomes a need for him to have a 15-foot jumper. I do think he needs to do something to separate himself from the other rim rolling centers. Because if that's what he's going to get paid to do, is put the ball in the hoop, you better develop an offensive game, and you better be averaging close to 23 points per game next year. I don't need you to be the offensive hub, but you need to make yourself so valuable on offense that you need to demand the ball, and you get the ball on most possessions. Like, Cade's going to have to feed you and feed you and feed you, and it better not just be at the rim. You can't do that.
Yeah,
But you need to make yourself so good offensively that he has to get you the ball.
for that kind of money, Lance, you can't tell me that he can't be a guy that when there's 12 seconds left in the clock, we can't throw it down to in a one-on-one post isolation where 50% of the time, 60% of the time, he's not going to get us a bucket. That's the money that I'm looking at, is that you can be some type of release for this team where you can win that type of battle consistently.
But if he develops the jump shot, and again, I'm pro Jalen Duren right now. I'm pro signing him because this is my belief. If he develops the jump shot and he can get a defender to bite, he is good enough putting the ball on the ground and using his size and using his athleticism to go over and through another defender. I've seen it countless times where he puts the ball on the ground. It's like 1 or 2 dribbles, spin, he's at the rim, and he's going over someone or he's going through someone. Developing a 15-foot jumper at least opens the door for him to be able to create some offense in the post via isolations, but he has to develop the offensive jumper first. Yeah, in a one-on-one situation where what we saw where he's just going to call for the ball in the post because that's where he's most comfortable catching it. Yeah, he's probably going to lose those battles most of the time in the playoffs. But if he develops the jump shot, him scoring at the rim, it opens things, whether it's isolation or catching something from Cade.
So do you see Duren being a part of maybe a big three? Them bringing in another weapon with Cade and him being a part of that long term for them then?
I'm not saying that I see it. What I'm saying is he needs to be that. That's what he has to be. If you're going to pay him this type of money and we're not going to count on him on the defensive end, this is where he needs to be. And he needs to be the second or third leading scorer. He needs to be a big three on offense with Cade and whoever else they decide to bring in. That's what he needs to be. Because you're not paying him for defense.
And that's putting a lot of chips in that basket.
But he's probably closer to being a big three on offense than he is being a great rim protector, someone that you can count on saying, like, dude, he's going to anchor our defense for another 10 years. He's closer to the offensive stuff than he is the defensive stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's where it's nice to have a backup like Stewart that brings a little bit more of an edge defensively for us.
Yeah, you're going to have to find someone that is you're going to have to find a 4 once to buy, depending on what you do with Tobias Harris. It can be Stewart, but eventually you're going to have to find some muscle to start alongside Jalen Duren. And I mean muscle just like on the defensive end, but they got to be a certain type. Yeah, man, this is interesting, man. I didn't think this conversation would go this way with Jalen Duren's contract.
I think, like I said before, man, he performed enough to get it. Go get it, whether it's with Detroit or another team.
Yeah, but he'd be.
I think it'd be silly to want so much money and not grow with this young team. Like, I think that'd be a mistake for him. But I'm not in contract negotiations, so.
Yeah, true. Neither am I. Would love to be in them someday, though.
Just to listen to him.
Yeah. Okay, out of all of these names, tell me who you're taking. Tell me who you're taking Cade over. Jason Tatum, Stephen Curry, Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunson, Jaylen Brown. I asked those guys specifically because they are American players, means they were born in America. And the question is, where is Cade? Is he the number 1 American player in the NBA currently?
I'm going to go with no.
And who are you taking over him?
I'm going to have to say Jason Tatum. And
is he the only one?
You said Edwards wasn't on that, was it? It wasn't.
No, I did say
Anthony Edwards. So I'd probably go with. God, it's such a tough list, man. That's tough to put out there. With his because we don't have a huge plate of information to go off with Cade like some of these other vets, because these are vets.
Well, he was 5th in MVP voting this year
with Cunningham.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and a big part of me wants to say that it's hard to take Brunson over him, but I think he still is above him. So I'm not sure. That's such a tough list, but I think Jason Tatum. I think Tatum, with how fast he developed and how well he's playing, and even how well he came back after the Achilles, I still think Tatum probably has the edge over him.
I think, as I'm looking at this list, and now I'm thinking of like Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell, Tyrese Maxey, Jalen Johnson, just to name a few other players. The only American-born player I'm taking over all of them, including Cade Cunningham, is Jason Tatum. Cade is number 2 in my list, but he's real close to Jason Tatum based on what he did this past season. Like, I don't blame anybody, but I'm not just going to be like, I guess I should be biased and just say Cade, but if I'm being realistic, it's Jason Tatum and that's it. It'd be Jason Tatum and then Cade if you were to ask me to start listing the best American players in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, and everyone wants, if we're saying like right now with best American, like current league guys that we've seen produce, and because how long's Curry been with the Warriors?
Oh, man, off the top of the head, I want to
14
say
years,
I want to say
17
17.
years. Like, if
Let's
you
look
want to
it up.
talk about one of the greatest to do it that is still playing, I mean, you got to talk about LeBron James too, because I mean, he's still in the league if we're talking about overall.
16 years for Steph Curry, but no, I mean, if you're talking currently right now, I'm not taking LeBron James or Steph Curry over Cade Cunningham.
No,
I can't.
I wouldn't agree with that, but I still think Tatum probably has the edge over him.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm taking Tatum over Cade, but I'm not taking Steph. I'm not taking Anthony Edwards. I'm flirting with Jalen Brunson. I'm actually flirting with Anthony Edwards too, if I'm being honest. But Cade's number 2 for me. Jason Tatum number 1.
Yeah, we're both to agreement on that. I think Tatum, unfortunately. I think just all around what he brings to a team is just a little bit more than Cade right now.
I mean, I'm looking at his numbers right now, and yeah, like at his peak, he probably should have won MVP for this year. He was averaging 39 and 5 with 1 steal, but shooting 85% from the line, 47% from the field, 35% from 3 on 9 attempts. Like, I mean, dude, he's a good all-around player. Like, man, I really sleep on Jason Tatum, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't give him the respect that he deserves. I'm doing it right now on the podcast. But yeah, Jason Tatum, he's the only American player I'm taking over Cade Cunningham.
Like, because the 16 regular season games that he came back to play, which we didn't even think he was going to do that. Like that,
Yeah.
like no one knew that he was actually going to come back and get minutes before maybe even the postseason. But coming back, 16 games played and going for 22, 10 and 5.
Yeah, but
that is insane, man.
Yeah, but look at his playoff numbers. His playoff numbers are 23, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists with 1 steal.
It's incredible, man.
Holy crap.
It's incredible.
And he shot 47 because he only shot 41% during this regular season, but it was 16 games coming off injury. Yeah, but then he shot 48%. Yeah, he's totally back. Holy crap. He might be, because it's been there hasn't been an American player that's won MVP in a number of years. Gotta look this up. He might be the early favorite to win MVP, right? Maybe Wemby, but man, Jason Tatum
possibly for next year. Yeah. Now, it's a Pistons podcast. I get it, guys. But with Boston, is the future Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum? Is that the future? Or are they going to stick with that, you think?
I don't think
it's a good marriage there.
I don't think Jalen Brown's going anywhere.
No?
Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere. Who do you think was the last? We can get back to that in a second, but who do you think was the last American-born player to win MVP?
Oh, man. What year was it?
2017 and 2018. Western Conference player.
I want to. It's not Steph Curry.
No, he was 2 years before. Well, he got in 15-16.
I don't know.
James Harden.
Oh, Houston Rockets, James Harden.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Face to the floor. Yeah.
James Harden, the last American player.
What was his stats? I'm going to look that up.
35-9 with 2 steals.
That's crazy.
Played in 72 games and got 35 minutes a game.
Which is nuts. Yeah.
Do you see Cade winning a regular season MVP?
Yeah. That's going to be tough, dude.
It'd be a lot of things would have to go right.
Yeah.
in order for him to win.
I think, and as much as because we've had this conversation with with Ausar winning Defensive Player of the Year, I think the same things have to happen for Cade to win it.
Yeah, but he's probably going to be the closest Piston player I've watched that I could say was probably a legit MVP candidate. I mean, as much as I wanted like Ben Wallace to win it, that was never going to happen. But yeah, Cade might be the only Piston that I've personally watched where I'm like, dude, he could be MVP of the league.
It's
crazy.
A lot of things have to fall his way, and I think even so, it sucks that maybe some people might not hit the threshold for 65 games. I think that'll be a part of it too. But you don't want him to win an MVP and make it look like a fucking participation trophy. So
yeah, if he's like the guy that would really come in fifth,
which is bullshit. So we don't want that either, and neither does he. So I got to get his shoes. You see those?
They're nice. He would be the first regular season MVP for the Detroit Pistons. They've never had one.
Yeah.
Yeah, his shoes are cool though. I looked at them.
I want to get a pair. I don't even know how much they are.
Where are you gonna wear them?
Nowhere. They're gonna get framed and put in my office.
You know, I know people that want to do that with their jerseys, and I'm like, are they autographed? And they're like, no. I'm like, dude, then why do you want to do that?
No, I'll never do that with a jersey. If it's not autographed, I'm wearing it. But shoes are different. I'm not gonna wear those anywhere. Those are so cool. The goal is to get them signed at some point, which will never happen. Like
so you're not someone that wears basketball shoes just around, right?
I mean, I do, but not the nice ones.
Dude, you're not wearing a pair of Kevin Durant's around.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Basketball shoe. I'm not talking about just Nike wearing a pair of Nikes, but you're not wearing a pair of LeBron James.
No.
To Qdoba.
No,
you're not doing it, dude.
But that's a flex, and I haven't had Qdoba in so long. Shit's good, man.
I don't think it's a flex. I think it's ridiculous to wear basketball shoes away from a basketball court. I'm sorry, dude. Every time I see it, I laugh to myself just a little bit. I remember a dude came into the barber shop and he was wearing a pair of KDs and they're traffic cone orange. And I'm saying that because I also had a pair. They were comfortable shoes on the basketball court. But he walks into the barber shop and I was like, dude, nice shoes. And he's like, oh man, you like these? I was like, yeah, I have a pair of the KDs. And he's like, yeah, dude, best shoe I've ever worn. I'm like, you hoop? And he's like, no, he's like, I fucking hate basketball. And I was like, no, why, dude? Why are you wearing them? Wearing with a pair of blue jeans, bro. You know how ridiculous that looks? I'm sorry. I
turn 32 next month, man. I wear Skechers shape-ups, bro. I'm not wearing basketball shoes out in public.
Dude, so I mainly wear, like, in the summer, I'm just wearing flip-flops. I bring a pair of socks with me, have a pair of shoes if I need to wear them for, like, work. So I'm not cutting hair and sandals. But my favorite pair of shoes I have are Birkenstocks, dude. Like, just slide them on. I love them, dude. Those are my favorite shoes, but I got to take them to be, like, sewn up a little bit because the stitching was coming undone. But, yeah, they're a great pair of shoes. Like, they're a very good investment.
Dude, I like going to the beach and seeing people wear basketball shoes walking through the beach. Those are my favorite people. I like those.
It's also so now that you're thinking about it, you're like, yeah, that is pretty ridiculous to be wearing basketball shoes.
Oh,
it is, bro. It is.
I will never. If I bought a pair of Cades, I would not be. You wouldn't see me. I wouldn't even wear them to go hoop. I don't care. Those are too important to me. Those are staying at home.
But if I hadn't said anything, you would have wore them around.
I never would have. No.
I don't know if I believe you.
I would not. Dude, no. If I'm going out and about, I'm not wearing basketball shoes. I'm wearing Timbs, dude. What do you mean? I'm built like a lumberjack. I'm not wearing Cades out in public. They'll think I look stupid, bro.
Dude, I don't know.
I feel like you're judging my character right now. You don't really know me. That's unfortunate. God. You wear flip flops. You wear flip flops like you wear thongs, don't you? Not slides.
Oh, dude. I mean, if they were comfortable, I probably would. Like, I would have no problem with it if they were comfortable.
This big dude walking around with flip flops on.
Dude, there's man. I can't share this story on the podcast. But
you wear Crocs?
No, I've never actually worn.
You've never wore Crocs? Crocs are all right.
I've never worn a pair of Crocs.
I had a pair of Lightning McQueen Crocs once. Yeah. I outgrew them.
Yeah, I mean, y'all grew them a few years ago. I know. Yeah, I've just never been a fan of Crocs. Like, people have always told me they're comfortable, but like, I don't know how they can be comfortable.
You just got to put them in sport mode, dude. Put the flap down behind you, and you can lock
That's
and load.
another reason I'm not wearing Crocs. Like, no, I'll wear my Birkenstocks, and you can make fun of me all you want wearing Birkenstocks.
I can't believe you thought I would wear basketball. You're crazy, dude. I know that rule. You don't do that.
Yeah.
It's unnecessary.
Well, this has been a fun podcast. I've really enjoyed it. Like, it's just good to hit record and just talk it all out. But yeah, that's our Pistons podcast, 3 Championship Drive, hosted by me, Lance Caporossi, co-hosted by Zach Decker. Do us a favor, rate, subscribe, but more importantly, tell a Pistons fan